Full-time filmmaker, making the leap. How do you do this? How do you leap into where you're only doing film 24/7? I'm sure that a lot of you that are watching this are going, that's what I want to be. This is my year that I want to do that. And that's okay. And that's great. And I hope that that becomes the reality for you. The reason we're bringing this video today and ask the question is, how do you get there? Right? I've been working nonstop in only movies for 20 plus years now. and so I look back at my career and I see that in the beginning, it was shaky. You know, I was trying to get things going for about 2 years before a movie finally hit. Then bang, bang, bang. Like I had 3 back-to-back that were all back when budgets were a lot bigger, and then it took off, right? So that was a great start. But I will say that the first thing is you have to figure out the finances, okay? Movies are not what they used to be budget-wise in a lot of ways. And if you are watching this video and your first movie that you're making is a $250,000 film, which is a legit budget these days, it wouldn't have been even 10, 15 years ago. It would have been like a student film, but it's a legit budget. You can get a lot for the technology, and budgets have dropped and fees have dropped. But let's just say $250,000. As a director and you're a producer, writer, you can't, you're going to get paid $25,000, $30,000. That's less than if you were to work at McDonald's, right? So for the amount of time that you're going to put in it, and you're going to watch it from conception to completion, that's a lot of time, maybe over a year, and that's not a salary that you can live off of. So you have to figure that into the equation. If you want to become a full-time filmmaker, how do you support yourself? One of the answers is to have that side hustle that's generating income. But the key with that side hustle is that it can't take your time. You have to be so efficient with your time. And I think that's the main key to working full-time as a filmmaker, is being efficient with everything else. So that if you can make X amount of dollars on a side hustle, but put in 10 hours a week, great. If you're starting to put in 20, 30, 40, 50 hours a week, how the hell are you going to focus on film? And now, it's okay if you're going, Tom, I'm working this job and I can't just quit. Now I got a family. Okay. Start taking actions towards reducing that time. Okay. If it is a job that you are working 50 hours a week, you shouldn't be working that job. So start figuring out a side hustle. Start figuring out another job that you can commit less time to, and start freeing up your time. That's a big thing, because if you could free up your time, then you could start to focus more time on filmmaking. And if it's going to be a while and you're working this full-time job and you have to do it for a while, as long as you allocate the time each day, and then maybe even say, okay, I'll take Saturday off to relax, but Sunday all day I'm doing movies. That's it, and then I'm working Monday through Friday. Okay, that's something too. Okay, because then you could put that energy into that and start building it up until the point where now, if you could reduce the time on everything else, then you're working 2 days a week on filmmaking, then 3 days a week, then 4 days a week, and then suddenly you become that full-time filmmaker. But the last thing I'll say is that if you think of filmmaking as a career, right? So it's not just one and done. This is the one that's going to make it, right? It's one, and then here's the next one, here's the next one, and I'm just going to keep going like that. Well, then it starts to turn into something. Last year I produced 5 films, right? For various budgets. Some were in the $250,000 range, some were in the couple million range. And the key is, if you look at it that, and you look at it as the complete path, well, then you can do very well. And if finances are the main thing, there's only 2 things, is that you have to make either more money in movies, which means more movies or bigger budgets. Again, it could be bigger budgets on a few, or smaller budgets, but on a lot of movies. That's one way. Or spend less. Look at your expenses. You don't need this crazy car, this gigantic house. You could reduce all your expenses. So that's the 2 ways to then free up that finances. So free up the finances, free up the time, and sooner or later you can go, hey, I can do this. I can focus 24/7 on becoming a full-time filmmaker.